Hello guys, welcome to Oracle Land. In this particular tutorial, we will be covering another PLSQL block types, that is name blocks. In this video, we will be covering stored procedures. In this particular video, we will be covering the purpose of stored procedures, how to create normal stored procedures, how to create parameterized stored procedures, and how to do the exception handling in while creating the stored procedures. And then we will be covering how to call particular stored procedure using anonymous block, using execution command, and from another stored procedure. And then we will be taking a look at how to do unconditional return from the stored procedures. So let's get started. In this particular to create a stored procedure, we use a command named create or replace procedure. Then here comes the procedure name. Let's take a name as pr stored procedure. Then comes the as, and then there is a declaration section in which we declare our variables. Let's create a variable name print name, and then comes the data type. We will be taking varchar2 and with the precision value of 100. Then comes the execution block, that starts with the begin block. Here we will be initializing the variable using a particular string like print the string in stored procedure. Now we will be printing this inside the on the console using the dbms command, dbms underscore output dot put underscore line. As I have already told you that this particular procedure takes the parameter and prints that particular value on the console. Now using the run button we can just create a stored procedure. The script output shows that the procedure is compiled. Now here we see that the particular procedure named pr stored procedure is compiled. Now that it is stored in the database, we can actually see it on the object file here. As we have created it in the system schema, so it will be only shown in this system connection, and in that there is a section for procedures. In that we can actually see the stored procedure that we have just created. So this is the stored procedure that we are currently creating and working on. This is the stored procedure. So now that we have created this procedure in our database, we can actually use it or run it. So now as the normal stored procedure we have created, now we will create a parameterized stored procedure. So to create a parameterized stored procedure, we will take another worksheet, and we will be using the same create or replace command, create or replace procedure pr parameterized stored procedure. Let's take an example that it takes one input vname, and it will be of type varchar2. So after that it is almost same. Let's take another variable called vname2, that will also be of varchar2, but it will take precision value. Then comes the execution block. Let's first initialize this particular variable with some string value, string inside stored procedure. Then let's print both the variables on the console using dbms underscore output dot put underscore line. So first we will be printing the parameter that is passed. After that we will be printing the variable that is declared inside the parameterized procedure. Now that we have created our code, we will compile it using the play button or normal run button, we can say. It is saying that identifier is too long. Okay, so here is a validation that from the Oracle side, that we cannot create a procedure with name that is having length of more than of 30 characters. So we need to reduce that. Now let's try again if it allows us to create a procedure. Yeah, it is allowing. So we now have created another stored procedure that is accepting a parameter and printing that particular parameter on the console, and also it is declaring a variable inside the procedure and printing that as well. So as this is a stored procedure, this will also be created inside the database, and we can see it inside the procedure section of the system connection. So to get that, we can refresh our object palette here. So now you can see that both our procedures are available in the database. These are stored even if we disconnect from the particular session and then reconnect, we will be able to see those procedures lying here. So now that we have created both the stored procedure, both type of stored procedures, let's take example of exception handling in stored procedures. So to do the exception handling, we add the exception block here. Exception blocks are basically associated with the begin. So we will be handling the exception with the exception block using the exception command, and when others, then let's just put a dbms output here only. So whenever there is an exception in this particular procedure, this will print out that on the console that exception has occurred. Now we can compile. Now that we have changed some code, we will be using the compile button to compile this particular procedure. After compile, after the console shows that it is compiled, the changes are stored in the database. Now if we close this and reopen it, we will be able to see the changes. So in that way we are doing the exception handling in the stored procedures. Let's also add this particular block in the parameterized stored procedure as well. Then we will be using the compile button, and then again we can see the changes. See, now next point, how to call a stored procedure using anonymous block. So to call a stored procedure using anonymous block, we will first create an anonymous block here. As I have already told you that we can create anonymous block using declare keyword. Here we must have a declaration block. So we will be creating a variable here, vname of type varchar and length 100. Then we will be having our execution block in which we will call our stored procedure. So to call our stored procedure, we must call it by name. So we will copy our stored procedure's name and just print it here and then put a semicolon. Now that we have created our anonymous block calling the stored procedure, we can actually run it. Now that you are able to see that the parameter anonymous block completed on the script output. Let's just clear it out and run again. See, it is showing the anonymous block as completed, but there is no output on the console because console is not open. Let's open the console. Now run it again. See, it is showing that print this string in the stored procedure. What where it is where we have put this string in our stored procedure. So this particular anonymous block is first calling this particular stored procedure, then the command is going to this execution block of this particular stored procedure, and it is printing the value on the console. Now let's call the stored procedure, the parameterized one, using the same anonymous block. So as I have already told you that stored procedure with the parameterized one takes the parameter, so we need to pass the argument. So first we will initialize this particular vname variable with a string called calling from anonymous block. So whenever we pass this particular string on as an argument to our stored procedure parameterized one, it will be executing according to the code written inside the stored procedure. Let's first comment this and then run again. As you can see that the console output is showing anonymous block completed, and on the output screen we are able to see that print the passed parameter, that is printing the parameter that we have passed, that is calling from anonymous block, and also it is executing the another command that we have written here, print the declared parameter, that will be printing the declared parameter string inside the stored procedure. So in that way we can call the stored procedure using the anonymous block. Now move forward towards the another way of calling, that is using the execution command. Execution command is simple. We can just write execute and then the name of the stored procedure. So let's take an example, exec and stored procedure, and just click on the run button. It will just print out the value, print the print the string in stored procedure as it is written here. So using the exec command we are able to call the stored procedure. Now let's call the parameterized one using the same command, exec procedure name and a variable as an argument, calling stored procedure using exec. So now you run the procedure. As you can see that it is printing the same result as earlier using the anonymous block. So the way are different but output is same. Now let's move forward towards the third way, that is from another stored procedure. So for this example we will be creating another stored procedure uh, using the same create or replace command. Let's name it PR child procedure. Let's create it a parameterized one. It will just print the value that we have passed to it, so not a very much complex code here. Using the play button we can just create it or compile it into the database, and then after refreshing we will be able to see it on the palette here. As you can see the PR child procedure, it is also created on the in the database. Now we will call it inside the another procedure. So to call it from the procedure we can directly call it using the name and the semicolon. So I put the name here and the semicolon. Now let's compile it. as you can see that there is an error called wrong number of type of arguments. So this is because we have created the child procedure as a parameterized one, so we need to pass the parameters as well. So we will be passing the parameter called calling child procedure. Now let's try to compile it. So it is compiled now, and now let's cross it, and after refresh we will be able to see the updated stored procedure. As you can see that it is showing the code that we have just written. Now we will be calling that particular stored procedure, PR stored procedure, using the normal execution command. So now that we have we have called it, it is showing anonymous block completed, and the output here is showing that first it is showing the print the string in the stored procedure, and then calling child procedure, that the command that we have put in the child procedure. Okay, now let's move forward towards the last part, that is how to make a conditional return from stored procedures. So as you can see that all the execution is we have to complete the entire execution, but we can create an unconditional return from a stored procedure using the return command. Let's put the return command here, and then again put it here, again put the put some command after this particular return statement, like after return statement. So now we will again run the main stored procedure using the play button here. So you can see that anonymous block is completed, and the output is showing same, that is print string then calling child procedure. No line after the return statement is executed, that is this particular after statement is not executed by the Oracle database, because we have put the return here. So execution of this particular child procedure will not be going further after this particular return statement. So guys, this is all about the stored procedures. In the next video we will be covering the stored functions. Thanks for watching.